What up, my freaks? Ruinous Insight here with another Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 Skalgrim Mod ship spotlight. So we have completed our look at the Tyranid Titans, but not to worry, that is not the end of the Tyranids, for there are other Tyranid ships to look at in lower classes. Specifically, this time we will be taking a look at the BIOPLASMA HIVESHIP. Now, the Hive ships, they're all comparable in the sense that they're all statted exactly the same. There's no need to compare them because every single stat and every single ship specific is shared between them. So at the very least, we don't need to compare them beyond their point cost and thus their weaponry. Speaking of weaponry, the BIOPLASMA HIVESHIP, which should be obvious by virtue of its name, is a ship that has nothing but bioplasma weaponry. It is a hyper-specialized ship that only really does one thing. I suppose there's a slight variation by virtue of the fact that it has two forward-facing prow artillery bioplasma weapons that have the mid-range at 13,500, which you can increase with tracking sense to 18,000, in comparison to the broadside bioplasma battery weapons, which have much less critical chance and much less damage, but also fire considerably more often. But other than that, it's all bioplasma, baby. It's all bioplasma. Now, the bioplasma is fairly interesting as it is the Tyranid's equivalent of a lance, right? It pierces shields and it is precise. It's not going to miss like the pyro acid / macro weapons that the Tyranids have. So this does allow these ships to, maintain max distance and put in a decent amount of firepower that is going to hurt the enemy without yet getting into combat. Now, the Tyranids, let's face it, they're not known for their mid to long range combat abilities, but this ship, together with the Acid Infestation Hive ship, which also features a couple of artillery weapons, can actually fight decently at mid range, which is kind of interesting. Of course, that does necessitate that you have a type of fleet that can allow that and have some melee ships, which we have here, so that they can annoy the enemy fleet while you dish out the damage. Obviously, you would still want to eventually close the distance, because these are hive ships after all. They all have deadly troop efficiency and they have a lot of boarding damage, and you really do want to make sure that you use that. Otherwise, the weapons, there's really not much to say about this ship, just by virtue of the fact that once again it does share all of its stats and it only has one weapon type. But once again, it's the Tyranids. They tend to evolve one perfect organism instead of going for generalist ships. They just go for ships that do one thing really, really well. There are some pseudo-generalist ships in their lower classes, but they tend to follow this sort of thing. There are a couple of generalist ships like these two hive ships, which have a little bit of pretty much everything, like the bioacid hive ship here, but otherwise, no. In fact, the bioplasma hive ship is probably the most specialized of all the hive ships in Titans, well, with the exception, I guess, of the behemoth, which just, rams things, just by virtue of its single weapon. Unlike all the other three hive ships, it does not also have any launch base. All three of these other hive ships can actually protect themselves, whereas this thing cannot from enemy fighters and bombers, which is quite a danger. Indeed, if this was not a spotlight, I would probably be bringing a couple of infestation devourers with the cheapest access to 4 launch bays that the Tyranids have, just to provide a couple harpy swarms to protect the hive ships. But once again, this is a spotlight, and I do want to show off the weaknesses of this particular ship in addition to its strengths, and not rely too much on the support fleet. I don't, however, think that you want to make a fleet of any kind without at least some escorts, and that's just because that's just the way the Tyranids really work. You really want to make use of those escorts to annoy the enemy, identify the enemy, and more importantly, spore them the hell up. Anyway, let's take a look at the ship quickly. That's not the right ship. That's not the right ship at all. Bioplasma hive ship. There we go. I was just like, oh, it looked a little bit small for a hive ship, doesn't it? So here we are. Let's also take a look at the different color schemes here. I still think Kraken probably looks the best. And there we go. I mean, you guys are probably familiar with the way hive ships look by now, but you know, it's still nice to always take a look at them. And you can see clearly the bioplasma artillery, one from under its carapace up here, and then one in its mouth here, and then those are the broadside weaponry as well. Because I'm sure you guys wanted a real nice and close look at the body horror / bio horror that the Tyranids provide for this setting. Anyway, that's it. There's really not much else to say about the hive ship. It moves reasonably fast, but then again, so do all the other hive ships at 180. It's the Tyranids, and one other thing, this time we'll be going with the Hydra color scheme, just by virtue of somebody asking for it in the comments of the previous Tyranid Spotlight. So there we go. Back to the fleet builder. Let's take it for a spin with this fleet. A couple Bio Clutch Void Prowlers, mostly just because I wanted a couple cheap clutches to follow in the Clutch Kraken in here, and there's really no other good reason. The other option would have been, I suppose, to bring a couple of corrosive infestation razor fiends just for those launch bays, but I mean, it's not a big deal either way. I don't think so. It really depends on whether these hive ships manage to get identified. If they get identified from a long distance away, then it's really, really dangerous, but it's less likely to happen when you're against the AI. More often than not, the AI won't know you're there until you're already so close that they're going to be in pretty bad shape. Anyway, let's get going. Let's try these guys out. In terms of the upgrades, I decided to go the Synaptic Relay because, you know, hive ships might as well not have them suffer morale loss or anybody else. And Death Shriek, just by virtue of the fact that we have a decent number of hive ships, and if we run into a bad situation, they will die. Otherwise, Echo Spore, just to identify the enemy, because this is one of the two hive ships that actually like fighting at mid-range instead of close combat, or at least are capable of it. And then a Spiky Carapace. The Spiky Carapace, because like the Bioplasma weaponry, it penetrates shields. So, you know, you might as well go all in on that. Otherwise, it's probably good to get Psychic Scream, but, you know, I don't want to rely on Psychic Scream in every battle, because I just tend to take Psychic Scream and Void Prowler pretty much always. But you know what? Not this time. Alrighty, let's launch, and I think this time, the first thing we're going to do is specifically launch against the Adeptus Mechanicus. Contrary to what I usually do, the Adeptus Mechanicus are going to be the easiest faction to fight for these particular ships, because all of our weapons penetrate their shields, and they have much more shields at the expense of their HP. So let's see how these high ships do against them in particular. Also, they have terrible troops and are very vulnerable towards the Tyranids in general. So yeah, there it is. Alrighty, Hydra hive ships. Fighting among the Corn asteroids, at least. Some nice asteroids to fight around. Alrighty, well, the hive ships are going to be group 1. We're going to set them all to tracking sense, just so that they can engage with their artillery as fast as possible. Then we'll get all of our little Krakens together. There we go. And where's that clutch? Missing a clutch here. Alright, now you guys are all going to go into brace for impact, I guess. Now let's get to it. Alrighty, let's find the enemy fleet. Try not to get identified before they launch all their fighters, and ideally they'll launch their fighters at all of our weaker ships and not our hive ships. Now, do we want to... You know what? We're just going to move up slowly. There's no need to waste our jumps or our Tyranid rush abilities. We can just move up. In fact, let's move our fleet together. There we go. You can see I'm being a little bit more careful just by virtue of the fact that I didn't bring any supporting craft. I.e., you know, fighter craft, rather, not escorts. Ordnance is what I'm referring to here. And what do we have over here? Is that a Spartan? Yes, it is. A log... Oh, and a Scutarius Sark. Okay, interesting. The enemy AI has a lot of close combat ships. Alrighty, well, you guys are in tracking sense. Let's set you into auto-engagement mode and just have you do your own thing. There we go. Cancel order. Ooh, and they immediately destroyed a little escort. You. Go for... Oh, and the other one dies. Alrighty, well, keep moving. And you know what? Let's identify all these enemies here. And then you go right here. Okay, well, let's set up the angles here. Ooh, a Radsaur. Okay, yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh, are you gonna get hit by those torps? Well, you're not, but you are going to trap those enemies with a swarm. You know what I should probably do? Everybody over here set to 0 engagement range, auto engage, go. And hello. You are awfully close to one of these regular clutches here. Now, you can see how much damage we're already dishing out while we haven't even gotten our hive ships in. So that is definitely going to show how effective these little guys are. Ah, damn, I wanted to get in and trap this Spartan. Oh, well. Our hive ships haven't even been identified yet, but they're certainly dishing out some nice damage. And go after this Admiral here, if you would, please. Adrenal glands, let's see. Oh, you lost your jaw. Damn, that's unfortunate. Oh, well. How are we doing out here? That's one ship gone. Skitarius Arc is in a pretty bad way. Our ships are still not yet identified. It's really hard also to see where exactly our hive ships are firing from, just by virtue of the way the artillery works. Actually, you want to probably move away, and yeah, because see, you can see these, the artilleries, they disappear like halfway to the enemy. But look at that. Actually dishing out decent damage to the enemy from the from a distance here. Alrighty, keep firing, keep firing. This ship might die. You know what I think maybe I should have done here? Probably actually use the Lictor Swarm, or whatever that ability or upgrade is called, just so that we could get some use out of the lightning strikes while these ships were still hidden. I think that would have been good. Alright, you guys, keep attacking these ships. And we're still hidden. We can actually just do this. Jump away while we remain hidden. I've never done this sort of thing with the Tyranids before. It makes it feel like the Tyranids are playing like the Eldari, but it is pretty interesting. I don't imagine this would work against too many factions, though. It just works against the AdMech because they're particularly weak towards this sort of strategy. Oh, you're gonna identify this ship, I think. Come on, get out of there, get out of there. Yes, nice. You, get out of there before you get identified. Oh my lord, this must be annoying. Alright, you guys keep attacking these guys. You keep turning and attacking. I guess we could use Adrenal Glands right now on both of you, just in case you need to jump. And there we go, another ship down. Ouch. Yeah, see, the Lictors would have been here. Okay, AI doing a good job actually applying some damage that way, and you got lit on fire by that, but that's okay. All of you. Fine, then kill that ship. How close is it to identifying us? Not close enough. Not close enough at all. Try to take out its engines, and the crits are doing fairly decently as well. Alright, you get ready to move out. And back we go. The Eldari Tyranids. Sorry to trigger any Tyranid players, because that was probably insulting. Not sorry to trigger any Eldari, I'm just kidding. Alrighty, are you close enough? Well, we can also, well, I was about to say fire broadsides and our forward artillery at the same time, but that was clearly not needed. You get away. Man, this poor AI. And the artillery clearly did a very good job at destroying. I didn't even need the spiky carapace either. They did a great job at destroying the enemy escorts so that they couldn't identify our hive ships while our smaller ships fought there. If the enemy has no way to identify you, this is pretty annoying. Yeah, we'll let you identify us. And you know what? Slow it down. Oh, damn, I was gonna ram it just for the fun of it, but it got killed by the artillery before we could. Oh, well. Let's watch its hulk or husk get wrecked. Wait, where are you firing at? The hell? Oh, there's an escort here. Oh, you really... Oh, you done goofed, escort. You really done goofed. You really should have been identifying everything for your friends there. Yeah, but basically, this is nearly a flawless victory. None of our hive ships took any damage, really. We allowed the one that took damage to take, you know, the like 3% damage that it took. So, as I said, the AdMech would be the easiest enemies to fight here, and I think that was a pretty clear evidence of that, wasn't it? Alrighty, now who would be difficult to fight? You know what? Most difficult? Probably Necrons. Let me just think. It's got to be Necrons. I mean, generally for the Tyranids, the Necrons present a difficulty. The Pyro Acid can't light them on fire. They have no shields to penetrate. They don't allow you to use your Biotorps or your Harpies or your Ether Swimming Brood Squadrons. Necrons are sort of the anti-Tyranids, which makes sense because it's life versus unlife. So let's fight the Necrons next, and we'll do one more after that. So Necrons, let's see if we can destroy at least some of you from a distance before we have to, you know, make use of our close combat abilities. I do imagine that we will have to this time. We won't be able to pull the same sort of thing off. That was a really cool battle, though. Once again, just by virtue of how different it is from the way you generally play Tyranids, and yeah, we could have made it a lot faster by actually moving the hive ships in, but we could have done that later too, so why not, right? And ooh, over an industrial, a forge world, looks like. I mean, I suppose it could be just a like a world and not a forge world, just super citied up, but that does look very much forge worldy to me. Let's see, everybody get together right now, right here, group 1, and set you up in that tracking sense so you can fire at a greater distance, and let's get all the little guys together once again. Right there, right, hey. Right there, and group 2, and go for brace for impact, get ready and get to it. Alright, so it looks like most of the Necron ships are over here. Let's try not to get identified, speed it up once again. Hey, maybe we'll have some use for Spiky Carapace this time, but once again, because we're against the Necrons, it makes Spiky Carapace also less useful, just by virtue of the fact that they have no shields once again to penetrate. Alright, how we doing here? You guys, you know what, stop where you are. Oh, damn it, they're already gonna... Oh, damn it. We got a little bit excited and went a little bit too far forward. I think what we need to do thus to do is jump our hive ships forward. You are all going to go to 0 and auto-engage. You guys all go auto-engage and cancel orders. Do your thing. Alright, you guys get ready to move forward. Now, what does the Necron fleet brought? Ooh, color scheme. Cool, very cool. Annihilator and a Ruiner. Alright, well, we can destroy all their little tiny ships. At least our big boys are all still hidden, minus the light cruiser. Void Prowler here. I think you need to move forward just to identify the enemy, if nothing else, because you're gonna die. Yeah, identify now. The light cruisers are all gonna get ripped apart. Let's kill this stuff. There we go, very nice clutch. I love clutches. I love clutches so much. Alright, set up that, oh, damn. Right there, very good, very good. And then annoy that Annihilator. We're still at a distance. Well done, well done. I think this Scourge is gonna have a pretty bad day as the clutch is ripping it apart. Next, let's have this clutch rip this little guy apart. And it is their Admiral as well. And another good thing about these clutches, they also have Bioplasma. That's another reason why I brought this clutch instead of the other clutch. We'd have to kill this clutch to get this clutch doing this thing. Ah, well, whatever. Right now, these hive ships are just providing support with their artillery capabilities. I really find this great. I'm actually surprised at how easy this particular Necron battle is. They invested too much into their super expensive Cairn Annihilator. Unfortunate for the enemy fleet, because the Cairn Annihilator specifically has those Annihilator beams, which also ironically penetrate shields, which we don't really care about. Well, at least we don't care. These guys do have a fair amount of shields at 1500, but as I said before, it doesn't really matter in this case because... Alright, clutches work together. Please don't ram each other. Don't ram each other. There we go. All of you kill those. The shields don't matter because these guys are all hidden. Echo Spore right here, and all of you... Okay, you guys are having kind of a tough time attacking this Cairn Annihilator, so please just move forward. I guess this other clutch is in the way. Oh, down goes the big clutch. Oh, well. Alright, you two move aside here and attach yourselves to this fleet. They're like those sucker fish, right? That attach themselves to sharks and stuff. I don't know what those are called. If it's suckerfish, I'm gonna lose it. Alrighty. Well, the only suckers I see here are the Necrons. Sorry, Necrons. I mean, look at this. This is pretty great, and this is the only ship they've got remaining. You keep on identifying the enemy and allowing our hive ships to do their thing from a distance. Okay, please just do this. There you go, there you go. Now you can at least make use of those jaws. This poor frickin' ship. I really just want one faction to actually be close enough for our hive ships to, you know, be in a dangerous position. They all have that Psychic Scream, but we're not getting much out of it. Alrighty, and it looks like the Cairn Annihilator is gonna go down. Alright, let's do one more battle. I think this time against the Orcs. Maybe the Orcs will do better because they have so many ships that we'll have a much more difficult time ripping them apart. More escorts, more light cruisers, and they all have insane amounts of HP. One more battle. This actually turns out to be a pretty good fleet. I'm going to use this fleet in the Tyranid campaign next. Or when I run the Tyranid campaign, rather. Alrighty, Orcs. I don't think the Eldari would have a good time against this fleet because we'd also just be able to, you know, hit them with perfect accuracy. Well, not completely perfect accuracy because the shadow field / hollow fields have been modified to you know, absorb weaponry, or the hollow fields have been modified to absorb some hits, but still. Especially as the Eldari would have to move close to this fleet, and probably that would be too close, and then they get boarded for their trouble, and then of course they get wrecked if they got boarded. Let's see. Oh, I selected all. Damn it. And I didn't mean to. Damn it! Keep selecting all instead of just the hive ships. My bad. There we go. Hive ships go here. Tracking sense one more time. I'm a little shocked at how well this particular fleet is working, considering we're not playing to the typical strengths of the Tyranids. But hey, if it works, it works. Good to know. Good to know pre-Tyranid campaign. Alrighty, one more time. So this is a pretty good addition to the mod, I think, this particular ship. Brace for impact, and let's find us some orcs, shall we? Let's see if they want to fight... wait, what did the orcs call the Tyranids? Debugs? I don't know. Now I have to look it up. Immediately after this episode, I'm looking up, because I cannot for the life of me remember what the orcs call the Tyranids. Alright, hive ships moving. Unlike last time, I don't want you guys to all get too far ahead of the hive ships. I want the hive ships to be able to provide support as soon as you're identified. Now, I just want to point out that against the Orky fleet, we would be very, very effective to use the Psychic Scream ability, as well as the... as well as Pyro Acid as opposed to the Bioplasma, just because Pyro Acid is sets enemies on fire, and the orc saluted ships are particularly vulnerable to being on fire. So yeah, there's that. And I just wanted to point that out, that if you're bringing a Tyranid fleet against the orc specifically, this is not generally the kind that you would probably bring. But hopefully it still works pretty well. All of you are going to go into 0 engagement range and auto-engage, and then all of you are going to go into, not 0, just auto-engage. Keep moving forward, and I guess it's time to now identify the Orc fleet, and it does certainly look like there are a lot of ships out there. Now you guys, stop. Don't drop and roll. But you know, keep it in mind. Alright, you are going to have to move around this thing. Okay, actually, you guys stop. If the Orcs are taking a while to get to us, maybe they have a lot of rocks or something in there. Move. Poor AI. Poor AI does not understand how to fight Tyranids, as I've mentioned before. Because you do have to fight them in a very specific manner. Alrighty, cancel order, and we've been identified, so it is time to go. Not against this one little ship, because it's going to get destroyed by that Pyro Acid, or Plasma, Bioplasma. You, move past this bomb. Yes. Hello, little orc ship. Target those engines. And you, spores. Ooh, they're all moving in. Lovely. Well, ram them best you can. There we go. Ooh, I wanted to... There we go. And trap this ship. And you, while that ship is trapped, go... Ooh, they got a boom flinger out here. Look at all those beautiful torps. And yeah, look at that. That's a lot of orky ships. Well done, little tiny ships, and kill that. Ram on ram action. I love it. Probably should be boarding enemies while I'm at it. I just got so excited about the rams. Oh, and orcs torpedoing themselves, completely unsurprisingly. This is so orky, and I love it so much. One of the things that I find really fun about the AI, like, say what you want about it being terrible, but it does play the orcs really orkily, and I absolutely do appreciate that. There we go. Alrighty, well, we're out of our supporting ships already. Ooh, might actually get hit with both. Probably not. And let's see how much we can whittle down this fleet here. Well done, Hive Ships. Yeah, it looks like they will finally be able to actually close the gap and hit our ships. Love it. Love it. Keep moving forward. You're still alive, buddy, but it doesn't matter. Not for much longer. Yeah, they do have a bunch of battleships here with a lot of HP, and you can see that their battleships at 6,000 HP are considerably have a lot more HP than the Hive ships do, which makes the Hive ships in general more vulnerable to shield penetrating weaponry, if the enemy can actually see them. All right, target this ship. Number 1 target, please. Focus fire that engine. Don't let it get near. I mean, there's no need to allow them to get near if we can still destroy them from a distance. And you two, move up a little bit closer, I think. Yeah, I think the ship will die before it gets to us. Oh, man. Critical hits, very nice. And it looks like the critical hits are, decent amount of fires on board, which is unfortunate for the orcs, regardless of the fact that we don't have... pyro acid. Another number 1 target. Target those engines as well. Ooh, it's burning its big red button, but don't let it approach if you can avoid it, Hive ships. I don't know why I keep talking to the Hive ships. Alright, ooh, and an enemy admiral. Move away. Move away. Oh, you got identified. My bad, my bad. No, don't smash into each other. My bad. My bad, Hive ships. That was my fault. We've finally been identified, but this admiral will die. Oh, in fact, wait, you guys, you know what? I mean, it's pretty clear that we've already won, so I think what we'll do is, pop adrenal glands on you, but actually move in to fight this time. Screw it. The enemy, it's not like they have any kind of chance here anyway. Just go in and fight. I want to get some action from our broadsides. Maybe even manage to use our spiky carapace for once. You. Go. Do it. And smash that ship, and then smash the other ship if you can. Beautiful, and then spiky carapace now. Board. And, ooh, yeah, you're taking damage immediately, which is unsurprising. But then again, so's the enemy taking so much damage. Board and board. There we go, and that ship is done. And then there was one. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And once again, you can see that the Lictor Brood probably would have been a decent addition here, but once again, a fairly easy battle, and I once again just want to point out that we could have maintained distance the entire time and never even been discovered. So I guess against the AI, it certainly does sort of provide reason to sometimes bring mid-range Tyranid ships, as weird as that sounds, and kill enemies before they can actually see you. I guess that works with every single faction to some degree, especially once again against the AI. Anyway, I think that's enough testing of these guys. It's not like any of the other factions would have any sort of chance against these particular ships. And next time, more new Tyranid ships to take a look at, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment for your friendly neighborhood heretic. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.